Jobs Kentucky is now offering up to 18. He's going to be heading back to Morgantown, finish up that journalism degree, right? So, he's going to be back doing that.
Right now, we are offering up to $18.50 an hour. You may even be eligible for a program that helps you graduate college completely debt-free and could also include a $325 a month living allowance paid directly to you. Follow us at UPS Jobs Kentucky and apply today at upsjobsky.com.
There's nothing more important than a child's health. That's why Body Armor Sports Drink is proud to partner with Walmart and Children's Miracle Network hospitals, raising funds for 156 children's hospitals across the U.S. Children's hospitals are on the front lines when it comes to protecting the health of our future generations. But they are not alone. Please join Body Armor Sports Drink to support the cause. Together, when we change kids' health, we change the future. Go to childrensmiraclenetworkhospitals.org to donate and learn more. That's childrensmiraclenetworkhospitals.org.
GE Appliances is hiring full-time for all shifts. Join our manufacturing team and make up to $660 per week. Apply today at makeitatatthepark.com. Make a difference. Make it at GE Appliance Park.
Head over to the GE Appliances Podcast Center on ESPNLouisville.com.
Time now for The Drive, presented by The Fitness Market on 93.9 The Ville. The Fitness Market is Louisville's premier location for home and commercial fitness equipment and electric bikes. Find them online at fitnessmarket.com. Now, here's Mark Blakenbaker.
Welcome into The Drive here on 93.9 The Ville. West Virginia, Charles. That's what the sounder sounds like without music behind it, Tom, if you were wondering. That's what it sounds like.
If you guys weren't hyped already, that should have just fired you up.
Look, Pat has left you unattended, and you did a really nice job in the 680 studio, okay? But the 93.9 studio is different. The buttons are different. The places are different. I think Tom can appreciate this, that it's a different board than you've been working with. It's like flying a different kind of plane. Like,
very, very much so. Like, I used to work the 93.9 board for like spot recording and podcasts and stuff like that. And I was like, I got this. I'm good. And then you try to go to the 680 studio and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's a different airplane. Yeah, you're flying a different plane right now. So we're on the air, and that's all that matters, buddy. So I don't know if you saw this, Tom. We talked about it off the air. The Board of Governors for the NCAA is going to meet, and like all things with the Roberts rules, it takes a long time to say things at the NCAA, and they're going to meet in November and basically ahead of their meeting that they typically have in January, and their goal there is to transform college sports, basically with the offer ruling and different name, image, and likenesses, that things that have come into effect. They're going to totally redraft the NCAA Constitution at this November meeting. So as we've come to know the NCAA all our lives, this is all changing. And in November, it's going to be official. So when we talk about, the NCAA doesn't matter anymore, that's really not for them to decide. A lot of that comes out of the Autonomous 5 agreement that the NCAA has with football. And basically, they can make their own rules as it relates to football. And now athletes can get paid. This is just another extension of that. And Mark Emmert has been at the leadership role doing nothing forever. Really since he ever got the job. And now the Board of Governors has called a meeting to basically retransform the rules of the NCAA, its involvement, and everything like that. So that's going to happen in November ahead of their January meeting. So we got 4 months now, or 3 months until this happens, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see what goes down.
This is where we were always going. I mean, I've talked about it many times. It's the frustration of seeing college athletics try to have its foot in both worlds at the same time and get away with it. And you got to pick one or the other, right? So, they're going to draw this constitutional convention, and I keep thinking, like, what was the NCAA invented for in the first place? It was invented because
fairness.
Yeah,
safety.
Fairness and safety, right? A bunch of guys playing old school football and getting a bunch of like really serious head injuries. Of course, now that's no longer. Now it's a serious thing. It's like, even today, even with all the safety equipment, we're still talking about CTE and things like that. But yeah, a bunch of guys banging their heads together with leather caps on, and somebody said, maybe we should put some guidelines around this, right? Well, to me, that's always been applicable to the Olympic sports, like all along, right? I don't see any scenario in which the Olympic sports aren't more the original concept of the NCAA in terms of fairness and organization and things like that. But even there, like with the Olympics going on right now, you got folks who can say, I can get name and likeness rights because I'm a swimmer or I do this or whatever. And the NCAA saying, well, you can't come back and compete for Stanford or whatever, which is ridiculous.
Well, our gymnast just won the gold medal. Suni, she can now go to college. She can make money as a gymnast. She can be on a Wheaties box, and she can go to Auburn, where she's committed to go. And so, like, that changes things. Like, can you imagine Simone Biles being a college athlete? Being able to go and get her degree, right? Which I'm assuming as a 25-year-old, she's going to want to strike off into life and business and things like that. Because, like the NCAA always tells you, you got to be able to go pro in something other than sports. Well, why does Simone Biles, who's a elite athlete, have to go through life being only a gymnast? She can't get a college scholarship to University of Kentucky if she wants one, like where they have a gymnastics program. I don't know where Simone Biles is even from, to be honest with you, so I can't really like throw a geographical equivalent to her or anything like that. But if she wanted to go to Georgia or wherever they have gymnastics, like she would have been like the number one. She would have been a 5-star, right? She could have got a full-on scholarship to go over wherever she wanted to, and then she would have been able to still compete in the Olympics at a high level, and then also, finished out her degree already. Like, that's dumb. Like, that's in the way. You need to be able to educate people. And I'm not saying that she's not going to have enough money or anything from her entire, existence, but maybe she could be better prepared. To make decisions, to have partnerships, to, maybe she can think a different way. Maybe she can have more broader set of social skills. I don't know. But, like, I think that you and I both agree that college is valuable. And for gymnastics, swimmers, tennis, golf, there's all these elite level athletes have had to bypass college and just go straight pro.
I think this is an opportunity because the fact that domino has finally fallen with the name, image, and likeness. Now, just to the point we've just been discussing about the Olympic sports where, look, those Olympic sports don't have TV deals except for the big events. Like, the Penn Relays is a good example of a collegiate level. It's really an amateur event, right? But, that kind of thing gets TV. The NCAA championships, they typically get TV, like the softball championships, the Omaha, the baseball championships. Those things do get TV. But in general, you're not going to see a lot of significant TV deals for those other sports, right? But now that the domino has fallen for the NIL, now folks like the gymnasts and folks competing in the Olympics, they have that opportunity to say, I can still go to school and then compete in the Olympics and get those sponsorship deals that I'm earning with my talent. And I'm not just doing it for Stanford or UK or U of L. I'm doing it for the United States of America, right?
Yeah.
So now that that's there, I think the NCAA has an opportunity, if they're smart, which they're not, so we know this is not going to happen, to contract and really start to focus again on those Olympic sports and say, okay, well, we've broached the NIL piece. That'll apply, but we can still have good constraints around how these sports operate in terms of fairness and leagues and whatever. But let's just be honest, football and basketball, football first, of course, because that is the behemoth. But I think at some point basketball, too, they just have to be a separate entity.
Yeah, and so the redrafting of the NCAA Constitution is going to be with the Board of Governors, with the Constitution Review Committee, which is going to have presidents, commissioners, athletic directors, and students, for some reason, from Divisions 1, 2, and 3, and independent members of the Board of Governors. And from the start, and we'll get to Cody here in a second. Sorry, Cody, just wait for a second. That really what we've got here is already at its base. If we're even involving Division 2 and 3, this isn't a change. NIL is not affecting Division 2 at all. It's not affecting Division III at all. So the fact that, and I've said this before, like Stony Brook does not need to be messing with Penn State. All right? You know, that cannot happen. West Virginia Tech can't mess with West Virginia. All right? So we've got to have this from the beginning, that name, image, and likeness, paying players, television contracts, conference realignment, Alford rulings, all these things. That's not because of what's happened in Division 2 and 3. It's not even what's happened at the bottom of Division 1. What you've got to do, if you're the Board of Governors before this November meeting, you need to sit down and say, I need the big dogs in the room. I don't need Stony Brook in that room. I don't need Tarleton State there. I don't need Sanford or Jacksonville State. Y'all can stay home. We'll let you know what we decide. But the fact that the NCAA is already having D2 and D3 schools be a part of this, it's already messed up. And this is from Mark Emmert. This is not about tweaking the model we have now. This is about wholesale transformation so we can set a sustainable course for college sports for decades to come. And from Dr. Robert Gates, who was the former Secretary of Defense, and he's one of the independent members of the Board of Governors, under the current structure, expectations for the association, the NCAA, vastly exceed its capabilities. The NCAA has significant responsibility but little authority to fulfill those responsibilities. The broader association cannot move quickly. Power is diffused until we can better align the mission of the association, the NCAA, with its authority. The NCAA will not be able to play the role it should play in governing college sports. We cannot go on as we are. I would agree with that. And with that, I will go to Cody. Cody, welcome into the drive.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So I haven't been able to listen too much because I took my sister out to get some food, so I've been listening off and on.
Yeah.
But does this meeting have to do with the NCAA giving more power to the conferences to govern the teams? And if so, the longer our scandal goes on, the longer that it takes for us to, get a verdict on it, do you think that Louisville could actually skate out of this scandal if, say, the ACC determines what our punishment could be or whatever? Because it's like, I'm just asking because with NIL and, you're pretty much punishing us for something that's legal at the moment. So I'm just curious if the conferences start to get the powers that they need to get. I mean, do you think Louisville could actually get away with this?
I maybe, Cody. I don't exactly know. I guess for me, I think all that's on the table, absolutely. And I think it's one of those things that we don't know. I think it's unlikely because even though it's legal now, it wasn't a level playing field. And Adidas, if the NCAA and the IARP sees Adidas as a booster to the program, which I think you and I agree that it isn't, and Louisville's not in control of that booster or even has oversight of that booster, that if they make that claim, I don't think that, because their whole thing's going to be look at it as a level playing field, and at the time it wasn't.
Yeah, I think the longer this goes on, I think the more Louisville has a case to. I mean, you're really going to take dudes that were in middle school when the scandal went down out of the tournament for a couple of years. It's like, come on, the longer this goes on, and with all the rule changes and the way that college athletics is just changing right before our eyes, I just think the more this goes on, the less likely it is for us to get just absolutely clobbered by them. So, I mean, who knows? You can't really predict these things, but it kind of looks better and better for Louisville as the days goes on and the more the landscape changes. So that's all I got. Sorry if I was kind of all over the place. I'm driving right now, so
you're all right.
So I just want to get that call in real quick, but I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate the phone call. I don't know how you feel about that, Tom. For me, it's kind of like with conference realignment. Like, you don't have to pay the buyout if the Big 12 doesn't exist. The NCAA can't punish you if the NCAA doesn't exist, right?
Right.
So that's another part of the whole thing. Like, if they meet in November and they're sitting around talking about, like, we just need to blow this whole thing up. Like, we need to leave it to the leagues to punish their members. We need to do it, this way. Like, clearly, we just need to be organizational type things, more oversight, try to hand things down and acknowledge that there's differences between the Sun Belt and the SEC, right? And that the SEC can't be held to the same restrictions as the Sun Belt naturally has, right? Like you don't just play all the way down to the lowest common denominator. You know, like sometimes there are more resources. They can fly private. They can have, you know, tricked out lockers with all sorts of stuff. But if there's rules against that, you know, because they can't do it in App State. Well, I mean, what?
Right.
You know, like why I can't do that because D2 can't? You know, so like the rules and some of the, you know, the restrictions that the NCAA has on the big leagues, I think is really what we're going to get down to here.
And I think that's exactly right. Now, you were talking about, you know, you don't invite the D2s and D3s to this. My take on that is, look, if they're going to take, and when they say constitutional convention, that is literally reshaping the entire format of what my entity is. I cease to be the entity I was before, and now I become the entity after. Like Articles of Confederation versus U.S. Constitution. Two different things. All right, so when you do that, though, you have to invite. So it's like, imagine the 50 states, and Texas and California are like, we're going to go off and do our own thing now. Well, all 50 states have to get together and agree that that's what should happen. So, yeah, you got to invite Rhode Island. You got to invite Connecticut, whatever. So similarly, in my opinion, if the NCAA is going to do the right thing, which I don't have confidence that they will, but again, the only path out of this that makes any sense that I see is, to your point, to remove those restrictions, those burdensome restrictions that are applicable to either Olympic sports or D2, T3. You got to spin off and say, you know, this is a separate thing. Now,
well, those leagues need D2, the D2 and D3 divisions. They need the NCAA.
Well, that
because they need that oversight. They need the organizational part.
Absolutely. Well, and that's what I mean is to remove the restrictions that are applied to them, which are needed and necessary for various reasons. Yeah, you've got to have. Now, you were talking about some of the, you know, Sun Belt versus other things. Do they go, if you do spin off and have a separate entity, do you let them go with it and say, look, there's really still even within that two different divisions of play? Like you got these guys versus these guys?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because if you let the conferences dole out their punishments, right? Actually, I think North Carolina gets drilled
right
by the ACC for what they did, you know, with their academic scandal. But the NCAA didn't want to touch it.
Right.
And while North Carolina is a member of both the NCAA and the ACC does care about its academic reputation. The NCAA probably doesn't have any authority to that, and the ACC would be a little closer to the barrel there. So, like, I actually think that there would have been a lot more ramifications for Carolina for their fake classes, you know, and if the ACC was doling out punishments. It would be interesting to see what sort of situation Louisville would be in with Adidas. Maybe the same type of thing. You know, of course, now it's legal, so we can, you know, don't even worry about it. Katina Powell would have been an interesting type of deal, too. Probably same type of penalty, I would think. So we'll see. I don't know exactly where they will kind of shake out on this, but it is interesting that, like in the entire release, that they go to Dr. Gates, and he's like, we can't move quickly. We can't move quickly enough for the landscape to change, so we have to meet. And we're telling you about this in July, but our meeting's in November. We can't move quickly, so we're going to move real fast in front of our January meeting, and we're going to meet in November.
Hurry up and wait, yeah.
What's wrong with August? What's wrong with next week? Like, clear the calendar. This is a big deal.
And that may simply be, you know, positioning and horse trading and whatnot. To me, the NCAA is the British Empire 1950, desperately struggling to remain relevant in world politics.
Maybe that's true.
So the NCAA is desperately trying to say, I still matter, dang it. I still have a say in what happens. But everybody else is like, baby, I've moved on, you know.
Yeah.
I found a new girl. But
you did? No.
Yeah, no. that is... You know, that is what I see is what this is. This is posturing and positioning. The NCAA saying, I desperately need to maintain some form of relevance here, so I'm going to put out these statements and do that. And then, oh, by the way, I'm not actually going to do anything until November. And even then, I probably won't do anything.
Yeah. So that's that. I don't really know what's going to happen with it. It's more slowness from the NCAA. So that's coming. We'll see what they come up with. I'm sure they'll mess it up. I don't know if you saw Teddy's quote.
I did not. Brief me.
Okay. So it was earlier this week, but I loved it, and I don't think I've been able to talk about it on the radio, so I wanted to bring it up. Teddy was asked, at a press conference, about, him winning the starting quarterback position or just continuing to be a quarterback in the NFL, and he said, "I'm a survivor. Put me in the jungle. I'll come out with a fur coat and a headband made out of leaves." I love that quote so much. Teddy Bridgewater is the best. Put me in the jungle, I'll come out with a fur coat. Oh my God, that's so great.
Now that you say that, I did see it, and I saw the image because I think Denver put out an image of him like with the animal skin draped.
Yeah, they did like a little Photoshop of it.
And honestly, I'm going to be perfectly honest. My first reaction, I just saw the picture and not the words, and I was like, is that like some racist person made they were trying to make fun of Teddy? and then I saw the words and I was like, oh, okay. It's Teddy is actually
Teddy said that. It's kind of like when Charles Gaines said that he runs with animals, right. And everybody made like little animal, things with Charles like running actually with animals. It was hilarious, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, Teddy is, again, we were talking about. One of the answers was Joey Votto, and I mentioned to you, like, Joey Votto is one of my favorite players because he's just a quiet hustler. Teddy Bridgewater is one of my favorite people on the planet for the similar reasons. He's just a quiet hustler. He just gets out there and does it.
Well, I'm excited. I know he's got significant competition there with Drew Lock at the starting quarterback position for the Denver Broncos. I don't know if he'll win it at a camp. I think he will be by the end of the year, the starting quarterback at Denver. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's part of their plan, because he will be a free agent unless the Broncos pick up his option for a third season, which is entirely possible, especially if he plays well up there. I think the Broncos are a very good team. I think they have a good defense. They've got good wide receivers, a good running back. Really what they need is a quarterback. So if Lott goes in there and kind of screws it up, Teddy can pick up the pieces. That might be enough to solidify Teddy in that offense for at least another season. I think Denver is one of those teams that could really surprise if they figure out the quarterback spot. And I kind of hope Teddy wins the job week 1, just so he doesn't have to play and kind of try to clean up Locke's mess all year. Like if they start 0-3, they're not going to make the playoffs. Like, Teddy's not going to go. He's not going to win 11 in a row. So you're going to, you need to kind of have some success, and I'd just rather it be Teddy from the very beginning. That's just my take on it.
I agree. I always worry about that because Teddy, unfortunately, is one of those guys that in the NFL, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people who have distinct amount of faith in him, right? He has to work extra hard from day one just to prove that he belongs there, it feels like. Beyond that, even getting the starting job. But I agree, it would be nice if he was given that opportunity week 1 up front, and just give him that chance to prove it. And honestly, like you said, I think he can adapt well to that system, and hopefully they can do good things.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw this, but Lane Kiffin he was at the Neshoba County Fair. Okay. And I'm sure there's lots of county fairs happening all over the place. Well, in Mississippi, it's the Neshoba County Fair. He was asked for the one thing that he wanted to see this year, and his response was that he wanted to see the Ole Miss opponent punt the ball. He's trolling his own defense.
Jeez.
And Louisville obviously plays Ole Miss week 1, and so we're gonna be talking a lot about them next month here as we go into August. But it's funny because they did lose their middle linebacker. Their starting middle linebacker led their team in tackles to Kentucky. He one-time transferred out for his final year. If that tells you anything about what Ole Miss is gonna be defensively, that dude wants to be a part of a defense that's good. And Ole Miss isn't one.
Right.
So hopefully Louisville can take advantage of that. Lane Kiffin's joking here, but I actually think he knows that the defense has some serious things to overcome. I mean, maybe he's got something here, but to me, it's all offense at Ole Miss. And if you know that you've just got to get stops, and you're going to be able to basically name your number, I hope that's the case for Louisville, then then I love our chances in Atlanta.
Oh, I do too. And on the, like I said, the weak defense on the Ole Miss side, I just read Cameron Teague's article about the development of the offensive line for U of L and how over the past 3 years they've gone from being basically no backups to a robust, ship-shape type place. So a lot of good opportunities. I'm looking forward to that Ole Miss game. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, and like I was talking to Ethan Moore over the phone the other day. I was like, we were talking about like how good Louisville's football team is going to be, and I'm like, look, I like us against almost everybody except for teams that have a really good run defense. That's where we're going to really get tested. Like if you can stop the run and you're a good run defense, you fit the gaps and stuff like that, then you might have a really good chance at beating Louisville because Louisville's going to run the hell out of the ball. Like they are going to first down, they're going to try to get 4. Second down, try to get 4. Third down, try to get 4. They're going to try to wear you out up front. Their offensive line's very good. They've got good running backs. And, really, if you want to beat Louisville, you need to get them in 3rd and 7. You need to get them in 3rd and 8. And, and I like Malik Cunningham. I mean, believe it or not, Malik Cunningham is better at converting 3rd downs than Lamar Jackson.
Right.
It's incredible, like that stat is true. But Lamar was just that good on 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, I was going to say not as many opportunities to do well on 3rd down because he was already there when he needed to be.
Yeah, so it's just one of those wild stats. At quarterback, Teddy's the king on 3rd down. Like in Louisville football history, Teddy's gonna. I don't know if anybody ever be better on 3rd down than Teddy. But on 3rd down, Malik's in the. He's good. He's solid. He's one of those quarterbacks that you can make that work. And it's on him this year to show that Tutu and Dez are elite talents at the wide receiver position, but he had a big part in their success. And Ole Miss, they're losing their top, I think, 3 wide receiving targets too. So when people say, "Oh, Louisville, they're losing Tutu and Dez," Ole Miss are missing a lot of production through the air. Matt Corral's a great quarterback. I think he's a pro. Malik Cunningham's a good quarterback too. But the one thing Malik Cunningham has that Matt Corral doesn't have is a defense. And this defense for Louisville football is going to be much improved. I can't wait to see him. So Lane Kiffin trolling his own defense ahead of the season in training camp. That's going to start here in like some teams like a week. Louisville and Ole Miss, they're playing like the last teams to play. That actually bumps them back just a touch, but they'll be getting started soon. So on the other side, Tom Farmer and I, we're going to talk about Russia, and we're going to bring in a Russian guest to talk about the doping scandal that that Pat Forty wrote about this morning on Sports Illustrated. So Mark Blankenbaker, West by God, Charles, Virginia, and Farmer Tom here on The Drive on 93.9 The Ville.
It's baseball season.
Are you looking for your next opportunity in the workforce? Look no further. UPS Jobs Kentucky is now hiring at upsjobsky.com. Right now, we are offering up to $18.50 an hour. You may even be eligible for a program that helps you graduate college completely debt-free and could also include a $325 a month living allowance paid directly to you. Follow us at UPS Jobs Kentucky and apply today at upsjobsky.com.
There's nothing more important than a child's health. That's why Body Armor Sports Drink is proud to partner with Walmart and Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, raising funds for 156 children's hospitals across the U.S. Children's hospitals are on the front lines when it comes to protecting the health of our future generations. But they are not alone. Please join Body Armor Sports Drink to support the cause. Together, when we change kids' health, we change the future. Go to childrensmiraclenetworkhospitals.org to donate and learn more. That's childrensmiraclenetworkhospitals.org.
GE Appliances is hiring full-time for all shifts. Join our manufacturing team and make up to $660 per week. Apply today at makeitatatthepark.com. Make a difference. Make it at GE Appliance Park.
Head over to the GE Appliances Podcast Center on ESPNLouisville.com.
Work the Sunday shift. Get your tuition 100% paid for at the University of Louisville, and you can make $18.50 an hour while you do it. I mean, you're getting your tuition paid, you're making $18.50 an hour, and you're eligible for academic bonuses through the Metro College program. Apply today at upsjobskentucky.com. It's kind of like a name, image, and likeness deal. You get a scholarship, you make $18.50 an hour. You got academic bonuses. If you work on Sundays, you're getting $50 bonuses. It's a beautiful thing there at UPS Jobs. So give them a call over there. I don't know if you saw. I think you did. You saw the Pat 40 article from Sports Illustrated. Basically, the Russians cheated. Okay, the Russians cheated, and they've been cheating. Gregory Chikinkov, I don't know how to say his name. He headed the Russian doping program, not the Russian anti-doping program. The Russian doping program. They cheated. And really ramped it up after the Sochi Olympics, right? So that happened, and it's one of those things where it's like it's unreal how they cheated for the Paralympic Games. The Paralympic Games, they drilled a hole through the wall, and they stole the tainted urine and replaced it with clean urine for the Paralympic Games. So it's one of those things where it's like, and they got caught by WADA. The guy that was in charge of the doping program there. I'm trying to. Gregory Rodchenkov, okay, is his name. It was the state-sponsored Olympic program. He fled to Russia. This is all in the movie Icarus, if you want to watch it on Netflix. And basically spilled his guts out to the New York Times. WADA, the World Anti-Doping Administration, investigated it, and then they placed the ban on him. And then the IOC knew all this. They stripped medals, they did all these things, and then they said, well, you can't be in the Olympics. But that's why you see the ROC in here. So then, yesterday, Ryan Murphy, he loses in the backstroke to a Russian swimmer, and he's asked if he thinks that his victory is going to, that his silver medal is tainted because he may have not been in a clean race. And he said, maybe I wasn't. So then, Tom, I'll go to you to kind of explain a little bit about that. And then we'll have Ivan Drago sort of figure this out as well.
Yeah, special guest Ivan Drago coming in, man. Big time.
Yeah, Ivan Drago is going to come in here.
But
can you let Ivan Drago in?
Wow. I wasn't aware that he was going to be on today.
No, he's coming in. He's at the door.
He's hard to miss.
You let him in.
But yeah, like you said, ROC, that was confusing for me at first, extremely confusing. But
I was like, what is this country with the Olympic rings?
Russian Olympic Committee, and you'll see there's the refugee team, which that's actually really cool, right? That's the refugee team, and they participate under the Olympic rings. And the main thing is, and Pat 40 was so good. He's like, the Olympic Committee is like the NCAA here, saying, well, we're going to punish you, but we're not actually going to punish you. It's like, you can't compete, but you can compete.
Yeah.
What the?
Well, you compete, but we're not.
Does that make?
But you can't wear Russian clothing.
You can't have your national anthem played and your flag doesn't go.
What
up
are they playing when they win gold?
The Olympic anthem. There is an actual official Olympic anthem.
The one that our guy did.
No,
that plays on NBC.
That's ours. That's the NBC Olympic fanfare.
Oh God!
Right.
What do you think the Russian one of those is? The Russian NBC or whatever it is.
I can't imagine.
Putin is the best that there ever's been. Vodka. Anyway.
Jeez. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Ryan Murphy basically said, hey, there's always this thing in the back of my mind, because Ryan Murphy did get the silver, right? And the Russian.
He's won that event, like, an American's won that event, like, going back to like the 80s.
And so absolutely, he's like, it's a burden on me mentally to always be thinking that there's something dirty in the pool, and not talking about Dookie. They're talking about doping, of course. So anyway, very, very happy, Mark. You said we got Ivan Drago coming in. The Russian Olympic Committee put out a statement, and we've invited Ivan to come in because
and he can read it better than us because it's written in Cyrillic. Right, so, and that's why we've asked, and Ivan, welcome into the show. We really appreciate you coming in to help us translate what this is the Russian Olympic, Tom, is this the Russian Olympic team?
Yeah, this is the Russian Olympic team. So Ivan's here because, again, Cyrillic is a very difficult language completely. Slavic languages, Romance languages, totally different things. So,
but he's going to translate this for us and read it in English and translate it from Cyrillic so that we can all understand it.
Yes, very happy to be here. I wanted to say I have official quote from Russian Olympic Committee. We have responded to the horrible accusations from Ryan Murphy. I read official quote now from Vladimir Comrade Putin. How unnerving our victories are for some of our colleagues. Yes, we are here at the Olympics, whether someone likes it or not. The old bell organ started the song about doping again. English language propaganda oozing with verbal sweat in Tokyo heat. Through the mouths of athletes offended by defeats. We will not console you. Forgive us, those who are weaker. God is their judge, and for us, an assistant. I will break them. Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you, Ivan. I appreciate that very much. You didn't have to kill Apollo.
No, I mean, that was a bit much.
That was a lot.
So
if he dies, he dies. Yeah,
Ivan, thanks for coming in. But
thanks for coming in, Ivan.
I got to say, that was very melodic. Like it felt like that was the Russian version of rap. And then coming out like God is their judge, and for us an assistant. That
was a lot.
That's just kind of a cold.
It was
line
heavy
right there.
It was heavy.
What the heck, man?
But it's like they don't like and. Yeah, thanks a lot, Ivan. You can go. But the 80s are 30 years ago. But anyway, it's just one of those things where, like, they got busted. Stone cold busted cheating. They cut holes in walls. WADA investigated. It's in the New York Times. The IOC is like, yeah, they cheated, but we need them in here because they got bribed.
Right.
The International Olympic Committee, as you watch the Olympics, the thing that you should know is it's dirtier than the NCAA. Way dirtier. Probably more. What's more dirty, FIFA or the IOC?
FIFA's way more dirty than the IOC.
FIFA's dirtier than the
IOC?
That,
yeah. But the IOC is up there, especially with the bidding for cities and things like that. There's so much going on. And I saw a story about why are they having the Olympics in July and August in Japan, which is just the most swamp butt season in Japan. It's like more in general they would try to play it in October, right? But NBC and the other major broadcasters were like, no, that's when I have NFL, so I can't do that for you. So it's like, no, we're going to have it in the middle of the summer, which is for TV deals and everything like that. But I love, one, they cut holes in walls, not because they're dirty perverts trying to look at the ladies in the showers, but because they want to steal urine. That's number one.
Steal dirty urine.
To steal dirty urine, even that has 1 picogram. No, it has 20,000 picograms. None of this horse urine stuff. But also, they say whenever anybody brings it up, why y'all gotta bring up that whole doping thing again? I mean, why you always gotta bring up the doping thing? Well, that's like Lance Armstrong saying, I don't know why you guys keep talking about, the cheating in bicycle. It's like, I don't understand why you keep bringing it up. But, yeah, the 40, had some
40 put the screws to him.
Yeah, he put the screws to him. And of course, I mean, Ryan, 40 and Olympic swimming, he's got a connection there, right? Understandable. So he feels passionate about it, I'm sure. But the word that is one of my favorite words is chutzpah. The Russian Olympic Committee has a lot of chutzpah for just coming out and saying, I don't know why you guys keep making a big deal about this.
Well, Rodchenkov, who's the guy that basically opened up the door to all this, after the Russians performed well under his doping program, Vladimir Putin gave him the Order of Friendship. He gave him a medal. He actually awarded Gregory Rodchenkov with a medal, and this guy, he concealed and destroyed 1,417 urine samples. They had lots and lots of testing on athletes who they were currently, and then they were running them through the test. So basically, they had the test, they had the blood. They knew how to mask it. They knew how to conceal it. And then when they couldn't through urine, they drilled a hole through the wall and went and got it. So, and they did it also. They did all that in the regular Olympics and then the Paralympics, okay, where who watches? I mean, I'm all for the Paralympics. Don't get me wrong, but like, what sort of pressure are you really under in the Paralympic Games?
And there's entire movies about how dirty it is to cheat in the Paralympics or the Special Olympics. Like, it's those two things. It's like, no, those are sacred territories of actual people who have overcome so much.
Because everybody's different. Right? Everybody's different.
And then you guys got to come along and say, man, I love that sweet gold medal, though. I got to get me some of that.
Like, there's absolutely zero pressure for a country to perform well in the Paralympic Games. You're all out there to just do the best you possibly can. You wrap yourself in the flag, and everybody wins. To me, that's one of the places where everybody wins. The look on his face. He's like, so.
No. I'm sorry. No. The Paralympics are the Paralympics. You're going out there to win.
Well, no, I understand that, but like, why cheat?
Why not?
Right. Well, I agree.
Well, you're from Morgantown, which is basically a subset of Russia. You're like satellite Russia.
We don't need to go there.
Satellite
That's
Russia.
Too far.
I do agree with Buddy in that because, look, those guys, the para athletes, the Paralympians, they don't see themselves as something lesser, right? They're just athletes who are out there competing for their country.
I get that. I get that.
What my point is that while that is true, the Paralympics and the Special Olympics are two places that have traditionally been seen as more sacred. It's like we don't interfere with the pure spirit of competition here because there is already enough there. It's like there's already enough being done to overcome obstacles, do et cetera, et cetera. But no, the Russians are like, no, I mean, I just got to win, man. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous because there's no pressure. Grigory Rodchenkov doesn't need to be messing with the Paralympic Games, but he was. And so in the movie Icarus, he does, kind of out everybody, and it's investigated. It's reported. He's got disc. He's got everything. And, they come out with that statement that Ivan Drago read, for us here and, translated it for us. And it's like they don't even care. Like, they have no shame at all. There's zero shame by the Russians. They don't care. The IOC let them compete here, and a lot of people are pissed off about it. But it's not stopping, Caleb Dressel from showing up tonight and swimming in the 100 butterfly final, even though he knows that he's probably swimming against somebody who's been juicing. They're in the. I'm sure that they're probably injecting themselves with clenbuterol in their thighs before they go swim, and then there's going to be somebody from the FSB who's going to knock a 2x4 loose or some sort of deal to go and retrieve some tainted urine. That's what's going to happen. And so, but Caleb Dressel has to deal with that. He's got to swim at a disadvantage because the IOC has no backbone. They, and they just allow cheating. And so if you're going to let them cheat, then just let them cheat. Yeah. Just let them go.
I don't blame the athletes, like Ryan Murphy and others at all for saying, because it would be very easy for anyone who's not kind of reading into the full story to say, well, that's just loser's cramp, or that's just, you're complaining because you lost, right? Well, no, these guys are documented, extremely well documented cheaters. Like, all they've ever done is cheat. And so, of course, you're just going to naturally think, I'm in the pool with somebody who more than likely is cheating because of their history. And again, that goes back to the statement that Ivan read for us, where they're basically saying, here we go again with all the whatever about, actually, the word, it made me think, the old barrel organ.
What is that?
I don't even know.
Must mean something in Russia.
I mean, nothing with the Russia jokes, but remember we used to make fun of the Soviet Union because it's like, hey, it's 1980 and now they're really into the Beatles because they just got the Beatles, right? It's like,
right. And on Pardon the Interruption right now on ESPN with Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser, the next subject after the NBA draft is doping.
Yeah.
So this is a very topical thing. This guy, Grigory Rodchenkov, he worked, this goes back to 86. He started in 85 at the Moscow Anti-Doping Center, and he worked the 1986 Goodwill Games and discovered 14 positive samples, including Ben Johnson. Now, I know you don't know who Ben Johnson is, but like he beat Carl Lewis in the 88 Olympics in the 100 meters, and he was later stripped of that medal. But Russia decided, okay, at the Goodwill Games, Russia decided that those positive samples would not be revealed because they didn't want to have any sort of static coming off the 84 where Russia didn't compete, right? Where all the athletes, or sorry, Russia, did Russia compete or the U.S. that boycott? I forget how that worked. But anyway, they didn't, so Russia decided that. Yeah, well, Russia didn't, they didn't compete in 84.
The United States didn't go in 80 because of the Afghanistan invasion, and then in 84 the Russians said,
did not go to L.A.
Yeah, we're not going to go to L.A.
We traded.
Yeah, we traded.
But anyway, so that's the thing. It's like, so Russia was like, nah, we got these positive samples. Ben Johnson cheated in the Goodwill Games, but this is the first time we're all together again. Let's not make a big deal about it. I'm like, golly, man. Like they're covering stuff up for other countries now, like for Canada. So this whole thing, and like Rodchenkov is arrested for doping, and Russia like gets him out of jail. He's not charged at all because then it was at that point in time that he headed up their doping, their state-sponsored doping has been going on forever. And if I'm Ryan Murphy or if I'm an athlete in Tokyo right now competing in the Olympics and I get beat by a Russian, I'm thinking I have to wonder.
Yeah.
I got to wonder.
I would go so far as to go up to the Olympic Committee and say, just go ahead and give me the gold medal now, even though I won the silver, because you're going to give it to me here in a year.
Go ahead and print yourself out a couple more copies of that gold medal.
We know what's going to happen, and that's the thing. Again, it has so many, and 40 really called this out, it has so many hearkenings to the NCAA of saying, well, we're in charge here, but we're not actually really able or wanting to do anything because I always think, Brother, Where Art Thou? Remember that movie where the governor's son is like, Daddy, we can't do that. We don't want to offend our constituency. You never want to offend the constituency. So it's like,
well, I mean, the thing is like Russia, their attitude, and 40 talks about this in his Sports Illustrated article. I encourage everybody to read it. Like they expect you to buy it. Like even though it's not true, they expect you to buy it. Kind of like Lynn Bowden's grandma. Lynn Bowden's grandma's not getting rated by the DEA, but the University of Kentucky expects you to believe that. You saw Kyle Trask get his ankle twist by old Cash Daniel, but UK, they wanted you to disbelieve what you'd already seen. You don't actually believe that some fax machine, time machine thing actually made Randolph Morris eligible. You don't actually, but that's what UK wants you to believe, much like Russia. Okay, so this, and they want you to believe that they're the moral authority. They want you to believe that, and they do all this deflection coming over to U of L, and we're not a moral authority. We've got lots of mistakes. You got Mitch Barnhart. He wants to be in the New Testament. Mitch chapter 1, okay? But he's got a basketball strength and conditioning coach that threw water and his wife threw her outside in 15 degrees. He's got a football coach who beat his wife up on film, still about to open up camp as a wide receiver coach. He's got, or he's the chief of staff. Excuse me, I'm mixing up my football coaches here. That was the chief of staff that was beaten up. The wide receiver coach is the guy with the platinum DUI, with the 95 miles an hour, the open container, the twice the legal limit. And if you ask me what is a platinum DUI, it's when you hit all three aggravating factors. Okay? You hit all three aggravating factors, twice the legal limit, open container in the car, 95 miles an hour over the speed limit. You've hit a platinum DUI. Like your DUI went triple platinum. Okay? So anyway, and those guys still work there. But they're the moral authority. Good.
Oh, absolutely.
No, that's fine with me.
Mark Blankenbaker brings it all home, ladies and gentlemen. That's
Lexington. And so when I call them Russia, that's exactly what I'm talking about. They want you to believe that Russia is not doping. They want you to believe that Kyle Trask, his leg just bends that way on its own. Ashton Hagen just found all that money with there's just shoe boxes. Nike does that. It's like an Easter egg hunt. on campus. There's just boxes of shoe cash just on campus for anybody to
actually,
find.
our buddy's coming back. Hello, this is Ivan again. I have been just announced as public relations specialist for University of Kentucky. I will be giving statements from here on out. We never had any ankle twisting at all whatsoever. You do not know what you are talking about.
What about that video on YMT, Ivan? What about that?
That does not exist. That is fake news. They never created anything like that. YMT is an arm of U.S. government.
YMT is arm of U.S. government, so it's the U.S. government that's covering that
CIA runs WYMT.
I thought that was the FSB.
The FSB, that is wonderful program organization run by Russia, which does...
Was it the KGB? What am I? I'm messing up on my secret police.
KGB was Soviet, but FSB is like FBI. Would we?
Okay, I'm mixing up all my secret government agencies.
Obviously, the American education system not sufficient to give you the intelligence. You must go to University of Kentucky where we give good education.
So I got to bang on some sort of organ. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, we play barrel organ. We burn couches and play barrel organ in the streets, and we have the good dancing music. We do that dance where you like squat down and kick your legs out and whatnot. And
What's the name of that dance?
We drink. It's the one where you kick your legs out and squat down, and then you play the barrel organ and you drink the vodka.
And then at what point do you do the steroid injections?
Oh, that is you wake up in the morning. Oh, so no, what I meant to say was you wake up in the morning and you go to bathroom and your urine is so clean that the people come to the bathroom and say, I cannot believe your urine, it looks so clean. Russian urine, it is clear as vodka.
Clear as vodka. All right. Well, thank you, Ivan. I'm glad you stuck around. Is Jason Inch your ride home? Is that what I saw? I saw Jason Inch. He's here in the building. I want to make sure.
Jason Inch, he might ride because he loved the Soviet UK, and he also a big soccer fan. We play soccer together.
Yes. You all cheat at that too, don't you?
We do. No, what I meant to say was that we actually play excellent soccer. They keep telling us FIFA says you are the best at soccer.
Yeah, I'm sure FIFA, the IOC, they all love your bribes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, so thank you, Ivan. Man. It's just clearing all the things up. We're tying up all the dots here. So, all right. Well, you're out of here, West Virginia. You're going to play like John Denver or something on the way out of here, or what are you going to do?
I played it 3 times for Dan.
Oh, okay. All right.
With Dan's blessing.
Is there another West Virginia song?
Well, there's Sweet Caroline, but we can't.
That's a Pittsburgh song.
I know, but we play it for a different reason.
Why do you play it?
Yeah.
I can't really say the 3 things on air.
Oh, you can't really say the 3 things on the air. Okay. I guess I don't understand that. It's played sarcastically? Got it. Understood. We do a lot of things sarcastically, like the SEC chant. We do that a lot. And I actually had to explain that to a Texas A&M person at the 2000 and no, it wasn't a Texas A&M. It was a Mississippi State person at the 2019 Music City Bowl. And he was like, why are they doing the ACC chant? Why are Louisville fans chanting the ACC? And I was like, well, they're doing it sarcastically because that's what you all do whenever you all win a game or one of your members wins a game. They don't actually care about the ACC. We actually hate Virginia. We actually hate them and everybody else in the league. So that's basically what it is to be a Louisville fan. You hate everybody. So anyway, it's been fun. Hopefully Ennis comes back, Tom, on Monday, but if not, be ready.
I'll be on.
I might need you Monday. Okay, if Ennis's acute bowel obstruction is not fixed, I might need you Monday.
Acute bowel obstruction.
All right, Charles, you're out of here, buddy.
Good luck, buddy.
Thanks for everything.
I've actually really had a blast this summer. So
excellent.
Good
to hear it.
Tom, playing softball with Tom on multiple occasions.
You did a great job.
It's been great.
You did a great job. Hope to see you again.
I will. Yes.
All right. So have a great weekend, everybody. Pat will be back on Monday. I'll be back on Monday. Ennis will be back on Monday. Hopefully, everybody's back on Monday. You've been listening to The Drive on 93.9 The Ville.